Hello and welcome to another episode of Tomorrow by Design. We must each day earn what we own. A healthy man owes to the sick what they can do for them. The wealthy owe to the poor what they can do for them. An educated man owes to the ignorant what they can do for them. And the free owe to the world's slaves what they can do for them. This is a quote from one of my favorite people, Orson Welles, that basically sums up what we talk about in this episode. We are calling all built environment professionals to live up to the mandate that they have been called to and design sustainably and efficiently for everyone everywhere. Remembering that cities are not just buildings alone, but spaces that are built for the people within them. And it's our job to create spaces that people can be proud to call their home, towns and cities in Kenya, that is. Learn how you, even as a member of the general public, can use your voice to be able to create a better tomorrow for yourself and for the future generations. Let's get into it. Hello and welcome back to another episode of Tomorrow by Design. It has been a while, or at least it feels that way. I know for you guys, we've been getting Kawaida episodes, but for us, we've not seen each other in a minute. Did you miss us? If you did, please don't feel shy. Unaweza tuambia on our socials, TBD_Kenya. Unaweza tuambia hivyo pia, yes. Ukuja utusalimie na kachingching. But anyway, let's go straight into the pod. So, it's been a while. We are starting a new episode. I am not alone. I have two other hosts with me, and one guest. Other person I can actually see starts with an A, I believe.
Does it also end with an A?
No. Oh, yes.
No?
Yes.
Yay!
Ndo nasemekananga wanakuanga mashida watu wa shida hao. Jina inaanza na A na
wametumwa
inakupea.
when the
inaisha
devil
na
can't
A.
get to you.
Maze, all stress.
Don't be haters. Let's just
No, this one's a
kubali.
blessing.
It's a blessing,
This
yani.
one's a blessing.
Mungu bariki wengine.
We're keeping this one.
Let's hold on to it. Yeah. Your resident interior designer is, I hear a noise. Your resident interior designer is in the house. It's Annie. Karibuni sana. Happy to have another episode with you guys.
Cool.
Oh, huyo
Awesome.
mwingine ambaye ako kwa nyumba anaanza na letter S.
Hey gang, how you guys doing? Welcome to another episode. This one is gonna be a fun one. I'm excited. I love. We love this chit chat. We love to talk about our future, our tomorrow, and how we're designing it. It's gonna be a good one. Go on, let's go.
I always like Sid's introductions because he's always excited.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. He's like, we're talking about our future. I'm in.
I mean, you got
This is it. I guess I watch too many cartoons, and I'm all about saving the world. So I might not be able to fly, but I have design.
I can build.
So
yeah. I agree with you. But then let me ask you. So I know you guys with this different lens of life that you want to do something with. So I don't know if I'm the only one, but every time I'm walking or moving just about and I'm looking at the landscape Paliniko, could be in like town, and then I'm just walking in a part of town that I haven't walked in before. Start looking at the buildings. I look at these buildings, and the first thing that always comes to mind is when I'm looking at the design, and then I'm wondering, what was the person who was designing this thinking at the point when they were coming up with this building or something like that? I like to put myself in those kind of situations. And sometimes lately I look around Nairobi or other towns, well, Nairobi specifically, because if you look at the major cities that we have so far, recently, not too long ago, I was in Mombasa is pretty clean. CBD itself, which was quite surprising. Kisumu is insanely clean. That place is really clean. But then you come to Nairobi, the capital city, you're like,
I'm waiting to hear about Nakuru. Where is? Am I
Oh
not
wow,
there?
I'd forgotten Nakuru was there. We still haven't gotten used to this whole thing of Nakuru
No, we
being a
were talking
city.
about cities here, Annie.
I
Exactly.
don't like your tone, Sydney. I don't appreciate your tone.
I was trying to be polite about it, but I'm glad Sid you went through with it.
You're just sliding on by. I need you to be like, Nakuru is the cleanest and greenest city. Nini nini. All I'm hearing is crickets.
It is beautiful though. That's Nakuru is beautiful.
Thank you. In fact, today's guest has questions to answer about Nakuru's city status. But I have bones to pick. As someone who hails originally from Nakuru and is currently joining in from Nakuru. We have things to talk about.
I was wondering what all that noise was. Kwenye Nakuru kwangi kumetulia huko sinda kuna kwanga this guy who likes this place a lot. Anyway, I try not get too political about. But yeah, I'm not surprised we're gonna join talk hapo. But yes, you are correct. Actually our guest today is talk more about that. But anyway, I was just putting that out there. Kufikiria story ya nini. Why? So we have surely we all have something that comes to mind tukifikiria mambo ya Nairobi and all that. And the professionals, are they really doing what they used to do before, especially the types of buildings coming up today and the ones that used to come up back then, totally different. And our guest also actually has mentioned this, talked about this in her blog. But instead of me talking about it, please nisaidieni kukaribisha, please help me in welcoming the one, the only Brenda Ngoya.
Yeah.
Whoop, whoop.
The floor is yours,
so hi.
Brenda.
Thank you. I'm so excited to be here. As excited as Sydney is.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's the kind of energy we love.
His excitement
vibe, that's the
is
vibe.
contagious. Yes. Can't help but also feeling excited just.
Okay, first of all, I just like the name of this podcast. Yeah, it's so brilliant, and the fact that it's talking about the future and the eyes of design. That's something. Okay, so just to introduce myself.
They're not blushing. Stop.
They're blushing right now. Okay, my name is Brenda Ngoya. My background is in urban design. I'm a blogger. I write advocating for SDG 11, that is sustainable cities and communities. The reason why I chose that SDG, I feel like among the 17 SDGs, I think SDG 11 is the driving force of every other life in cities, especially. So I think this conversation is timely since the recent protest that we've had in Kenya and how digital activism is very important. So I'm looking forward to the conversation. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I agree with you. It's been a very not know what the right word to use is. It's been eventful. Let me just say that in the past few weeks. But also there's a huge opportunity there. I mean, seeing now that the power of how many people coming together to do what is right, or at least using the constitution and all that, has done. And something I was trying to remember. Oh yeah, there was a video that I saw. I remember seeing a while back by Ted Ed. If you guys like follow those guys, so Kina Ted Ed had done a video on. I think they were just explaining what is power. So something that I like and briefly also kind of touches on what we're going to be speaking about today is they were talking about the different types of power, how people come to it, how there's the money, there's the power within the people, the citizens, and all that. Especially the persecution, the power of citizenship, or people coming in pamoja. But then what I found interesting is when they talked about policy and laws and why there's such a thing in the first place. I mean, as somebody who literally, well, that would be a lie. I was about to say like 2-3 weeks ago, didn't know much about policy. That would be really bad if my employers had this, because essentially that's what part of what I do rather. But anyway, so going back into it is they talked about how law policy in itself is power, and how they defined it was that policy is law frozen, is power frozen, just to limit the amount of power that on how we are able to do things just commute, live essentially within society. Of course, very different in the different nations that you are in. So for Kenya specifically, we'd like to look more about, well, I mean, we can talk more about the policy side of things from a built environment perspective. But I'd like to ask Brenda, there's something in your blog you talk about, it's one of your blog posts, if I remember correctly, it's called Standing on Business, yeah? And you're talking about the professionals in the built environment, if they've been doing what they've been doing, how in some regard they haven't been living up to their full mandate as professionals within the built environment. But anyway, unaweza tukumbusha what that's about.
It's sad. At the time I was writing that, actually, there were no any kind of people were not so passionate about public participation as of now. But I'm so glad that this protest showed that people are really pissed actually, and they are ready to be involved in these processes. So when I wrote that, I thought it's wise professionals, especially in built environment, to start living up to their standards. Because if you look at a lot of construction that is going on in the country, it's really one thing. And there's this guy on Twitter called Maude. I don't know if you guys have interacted with him. So this guy, I think, is basically on Twitter to literally attack urban planners. And if my colleagues get to hear me supporting him, I'll be in a hostel. But for sure, he really talks about very good things, because coming to think of it, urban planning and design is a very important field. And I don't know if people don't know about this, or the profession themselves don't see how important this is, because the way we carry ourselves is like an additional field, but it's supposed to be a driving profession for cities. Because under urban planning, there are different fields. There is housing, there is infrastructure planning. Under infrastructure planning, they can have water supply, waste management. That's where mobility comes in. There is urban financing, there is land use, there is urban governance. There's also park and open space planning. There's social and economical development. If you talk about all these things, you'll see it's a thing that builds a city. So every time you interact with an urban planner, you should question him or her, like, what are you doing? Yeah. And I think that's what my friends do to me. Every time Nikki hang out na mtu alafu ananiambia kumekuwa na jam. Wewe, urban planner, you're not doing your work. So it's a very also it's a very tough position to be in, because if you talk with urban planners and designers, they're very brilliant. There are a lot of plans there. They have a lot of knowledge, but there's a disconnect between the professionals and the implementers. And by implementers, we are talking about the government who support. So it's a very political field. And I think the only way we can go forward and get these brilliant designs to be implemented is if the planners and designers decides to stand on business. Yeah, they decide to put their grid, or I can't think of any other word to use beside now like enough is enough. I think we need to take action in this space. Yeah.
Valid.
It's a responsibility more than anything else, and as people who have designated themselves as this is their job. I get that the output or the results. We need to stand on business where we can make them happen. You say, Brenda, you say something about urban happiness in your initial blogs, and I like those words together, urban happiness. How do you think we can be better, or we can do better at making more happiness in our urban spaces without having to go through the government? Because if ikibidi inaweza kuwa maybe, is it possible? Is it not possible?
Okay, that's a good question. The reason why I like the word urban happiness is that's the only description I use to describe what I do to maybe a 6-year-old. Like, what do you do? I try saying, oh, I create happiness in cities, hopefully. So how can we achieve urban happiness? There is different components under urban happiness. It can be just people having a simpler life. Like, it doesn't have to take you maybe 2 hours to get to your work, or having to, I don't know, you having to kukosa maji where you live, ama kukosa proper waste management, ama not having an affordable housing. All these things contribute to urban happiness. So maybe to achieve urban happiness, we should consider first having a functional system of all these things. Then we can add things like having more pedestrian walkways, people to walk more, having maybe a 15 walk park within your neighborhood where you can just go and chill without paying. Squeezy, you have to spend a lot of money to go anywhere. So yeah.
Don't even give me flashbacks about the time we thought we'd need to pay kuingia Uhuru Park.
What?
I know, right? So
yeah, that was when before it was opened, everyone was like, "Oh no, we're gonna have to pay for this.
No.
There's an entrance fee." Tukasema, we are not cool like that. We're not cool with that. At the same time, I'm sure there's so many plans to have, these happier cities. Basically, it sounds like kuishi soft life, living a soft life in the city, because you're not struggling too much. Things are accessible to you, and you can go outside. Umekasirika, stories za maandamano. Twitter is driving you mad. You can go somewhere and touch grass. Feel like a human being again.
Yes,
That's
I agree.
and I know there's definitely plans for that. But I think the question that Lian was trying to ask earlier is, Brenda mentioned that the implementers are now part of the challenge. The plans are there, but the implementers tricky. So what does that implementation phase involve? Do we have any insight on that? Can you give us any insight on the implementation phase, Brenda?
Yeah, there's a lot of plans already that was already developed. If you just Google, there are a lot of plans. Even UN written a handbook to city leaders of how they can plan Nairobi and other cities.
Yeah.
So implementers comes down to the maybe politician who's in the seat at the moment. Most of them come to the seat with their own agendas. Maybe let me compare the two. The previous government was so big on transport, was so big on a bit of housing, but majorly on infrastructure to do with transport. That's why you saw the expressway. You saw they tried doing a BRT along Thika Road, but the current administration is big on affordable housing. So these plans keep changing. When the president comes and say, "Oh, now my agenda is affordable housing," now maybe the planning department has to switch up and match more of plans on affordable housing. All these other plans are forgotten. But I think the best thing is maybe to have a one plan for the whole city. Like there's new plan, and new plan exists, but it has not been in practice for such a long time. So if that is done, maybe we can move forward. Well, yeah.
Maybe. Actually, you reminded me, if we're talking about transport, one thing I'm always bitter about. I feel like if you go back to some of our previous episodes, you'll also hear me complaining about this in the superhighway. The BRT systems that they set up and used all those funds and put them in the middle of the Thika Road. For nothing, for absolutely nothing. Why would they abandon such a plan? Anyway, let me stop. Let me reduce the bitterness.
No, but imagine it's valid.
They wasted so much of public funds to create something partial that's not even being used today. It was just thrown out. And I feel like you mentioned that part of BRT was meant to be part of a system to ease the congestion in Nairobi, give alternatives, there was this thing about shared mobility or something like that. Could you maybe tell us more? Maybe I'm very interested in the transportation side of things because I think it affects so much of our quality of life, by the way. So what would be some really good initiatives? I know we're not getting rid of matatu culture anytime soon. I don't think we even want to, but if it's a story of shared mobility, let's say, how would the BRT system be useful to us? How would it fit in our landscape with matatu culture?
Okay. If you look at the plans for BRT, it's a very brilliant plan
Yeah,
for the
on
transport
paper.
planners here who came up with. They really thought about everything. Behind a BRT along Thika Road, having a BRT along Mombasa Road, having BRT along the bypasses. It's a very brilliant idea. I think we've just said that the problem is in execution. So they decided to start maybe with a pilot project, which is Thika Road, and it had stalled from there. So having a shared transport system for a city means that a lot of people will use public transport, and they'll stop relying on their private means. So inamaanisha if you look at a lot of traffic, mimi hutumia Thika Road sana, so ukiangalia traffic mingi huwa iko na a lot of private cars, so inamaanisha wakireduce the number of private cars along the road and have a proper system on public road. Like I was saying, if somebody is able to trust the public transport, aache gari yake nyumbani, that will really reduce the congestion that is in our roads. Alafu, they wanted the matatu to, this BRT will be on these major roads and major highways and major bypass. Then matatu can serve these other roads, these other feeder roads to the highway.
Okay.
So matatu to a major BRT station, then BRT to take you to the CBD. That's the whole idea.
Okay. So in paper, it seems like it's a good plan. It should work. Something that I've always wanted to figure out, but I guess I'll just have to wait until they see it. You see these BRT systems, even the metro systems like there is in Dubai and any other places that provides like a metro system, a public metro system for their residents or within the city and whatever. So the timings for that, because they usually claim that within every 10 minutes there'll be like a shuttle which will come, take you to a particular route every single time. So if you miss train 1, 10 minutes later you're going to get train 2. How that works, I don't know, because I'm trying to figure out if that's the case and it's two-way. How do you, especially also for BRT, I'm just trying to figure out the what do you call the pattern and whatnot. Is there any bottlenecks? Is there somewhere where you run into another? Isn't there wouldn't there be a conflict is what I'm trying to figure out. I don't know.
Wewe umefikiria in a very hopeful way. Like I see your thought process is okay. We are implementing. We've implemented.
We get
Let me tell you something.
Implemented. Sasa logistics ziko wapi? Like I
Hapa
love
metro
you
super
are
metro.
with you.
That is
Imagine Super Metro every 10 minutes. Super Metro in a line? Is that really Super Metro?
no.
That's crazy.
I
That's
think
crazy.
somebody told me, as a built environment profession, as much as we see all these problems and we identify all these issues in our cities, our role has to be selling hope to people. As much as we should identify, inafaa tuambie pia, if it's done, you'll have a better city. So I think that's what Liz is doing. Like,
He's trying to do. Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Thank you for saying it.
Yes.
Thank you for
Valid.
living me. And these other naysayers
Yeah.
over here were like,
No, we were
I
on
think
your side. We just phrased it wrong.
No, it's all right. It's all right.
on that story of hope,
Mhm.
I think a month ago or so, Brenda and your team, you worked on some placemaking activities. So this is where like guys come in all together and agree to fix up a space or make an area in a public place to be like a cleaner place. Somewhere where there was garbage, you clean it up, and then you paint it. I saw they painted some of the decor, and it looked like a place has been made. But for me, this seems like a way to to build a better country without having to wait for the government to do it for us, without having to to wait for decisions to be made, embezzlement to happen before our money comes to the ground. What do you think are the limits to being able to use placemaking activities like this to create a better country? Can we extend it to, if we can get the financiers, man? Can we build apartments from placemaking activities in public places? Could the future affordable housing projects be done by passionate people like us with a whole team of locals? Is it possible? I feel like it could work.
Yeah, actually, I'm passionate about placemaking. That's what majorly what urban design is.
Mm-hmm.
Placemaking just
sorry, you're about to steal Leanne's heart. Please go on.
just the way the word is, like people coming together and making a place. That's simply it. And I think a lot of those activities usually get done in Nairobi. There is something called Urban October. And Urban October, I think different organizations, especially in NGOs, come together to create an activity, a week of activities for placemaking. I don't know if you guys have seen hapo mbele ya Hilton, there are some drawings that were done at bado iko ya last year. I don't know if you guys have seen
Hilton
that.
Square.
Yes.
I think I have,
So they pick a space and they come together and discuss what are the kind of activities that we can do, and then engage the community, waulize nini mnataka ikue hapa. So a lot of community wanasema wanataka maybe more trees, more space, hivyo. That's what placemaking is all about. But recently, which I was involved in, is in Embu. We did the first ever placemaking event in Embu, and it was under a project that we are doing in a settlement called Dallas. Then we mobilized the community and we talked to them, asked them what are the major problems that you're facing and how can we do to better the problems, to better the place. Then they gave us, mostly they had issues with flooding, that is stormwater management. They had issues with I can't remember the other ones, but our aim was to use nature-based solutions to try and demonstrate some of this, something like nature-based solution. So to try to make it fun, we decided to clean up some. We chose a place with the community, especially the community hall, since this is a place that they use majority of the time. They come there for their meetings and other activities that they conduct. So we chose that place. We did some demonstration for stormwater management, but to make it fun and make it inclusive, we decided to make how can I say it? To make it the drainage more colorful. We painted the walls. We talked to the community. We did a parade actually with them, just singing their songs that in Asifu, their settlement. Like it was a very interesting activity to be part of. Yeah, we did a lot of other activities. I can't remember off my head because
it seems like you remember the colorful parts, because like the parade, the painting, it sounds like such a good community initiative.
Yes. It is very interesting to do placemaking. I'm hoping you guys can be part of placemaking this year. I'm very sure they'll be organizing something in Urban October. So
yeah, it's definitely an opportunity.
Yeah.
So do you think we can scale up these kinds of activities? Can they be an alternative to relying on the government, or are we stuck where we're at and we really need a centralized way of implementing projects in our communities?
I know of a lot of estates that have association that they just decide to take initiative themselves because the government can't do anything. So they come up, they do the wanachangisha and they handle any problems that they are facing. But there are some activities like There are some places like public, especially around public land, that people are usually skeptical to handle because of issues. Government inaweza kuja ikwe like you are grabbing our land. Why are you doing that? Do you have any approvals to do such? So most of these activities, they are limited to estates, these organized estates. Especially, I see a lot of good things done in Lavington Estate, Kilimani Project Foundation. They do nice things. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. In fact, actually, there's something you mentioned earlier in the episode about how sometimes urban planning can be very political, especially within the government, the city scale sort of thing. So if it's political, each leader will come in with their own agenda, like affordable housing and the example that you gave. So if sometimes it may be useful, yes, for the people, but not what is actually really needed at the time. So to avoid the situation where somebody comes with their own agendas and it's just or when you're putting like things like laws and policy in place to make sure that just these things are actually for the people or it makes sense for us in the long run, especially from a built environment perspective. So is there any process within that whole is there any process or opportunities within that whole space? And I think placemaking has something to do with that also as well. Something like on a community level that helps make sure that the citizens or the community's voices are heard when these decisions are being made by leaders and the government.
Yeah. There's public participation. I think our constitution has done a very great job of laying public participation as the foundation of the democracy that help us runs the country. Because public participation, it allows citizen voice and their concern to contribute in this decision-making process and hold their leaders accountable to a lot of things. I think after in every plan, especially plans, there's the strategic SIUDPs that is produced by every county. It's required for every county to run a public participation. So there are forums that are usually organized to just citizens to come and participate. But in the recent times, people have not been participating. Utapata some of these plans zinapita without public participation because they called for public participation and nobody showed up, or maybe 2 or 3 people showed up, or even 5. I don't know. Maybe the problem can be people actually don't understand what this is. So maybe
or maybe the information doesn't get to them because I'm always like, where are these public participation opportunities? Like the actual first one that I saw was when Kenyans on Twitter, on X, were talking about the road maintenance levy being increased, and everyone was busy sending emails and finding a way to participate. I never come into contact with any of those public participation thingies. Like, where do they advertise them? Where do they amplify this information? Because probably it's not reaching the right people or the people who care enough to walk that way and have a say,
Yeah.
Where can we accept action?
Yeah, actually huwa zinakuwa posted kwa magazeti. Like ukisoma ukiangalia Daily Nation Standard, and especially there's a magazine called My Government that publishes after 2 weeks. Hapo ndio wanaweka attendance and all government information. So huwa zinakuwa. Alafu, so they have to, in this report, in a section, there's a chapter they have to show how they conducted a public participation. So I think where the disconnect comes, haina specific rules, like you should have engaged around this amount of people for this type of thing to pass. Naweza enda kwa colleague wangu nimwambie, by the way, kuna hii bill nataka ipite iko na hii na hii na hii, alafu asema iko sawa, hiyo ni public participation already. So we've not defined what exactly is public participation, but these things, some others huwa zinafanyika. There's a project I did in Kericho where we went to Kericho and educated the members of Kericho. This is what we want to do with your land. We explained, we presented the whole the opportunity we have. And people ask us question like, hii ikikuja hii, how will it affect me? So it happens, it does. So maybe ni sisi nafaa tusome gazeti more ama these people needs to amplify the information much better, like what Mike Mushiri did, like translating the whole bill into different languages, like
Oh,
how it's
yeah.
going to.
Yeah, or at least at the very least they could inform digitally because akisikumbuki the last time I read a newspaper. So you telling me I'm about to take it seriously. I'm about to be like, hey guys, iko wapi my gov? I know the newspaper pullout you're talking about,
Yeah.
but I've never known what it's about. Okay, good to know.
Yeah.
Also,
Let me-
but not verified that you can also get the or at least get to see which of these bills are in public participation on the website, the National Assembly website. I think that's also another place.
Oh yeah. And websites for ministries, especially
For
land, they
ministries.
usually put there.
Oh, okay.
Okay, then we'll make sure to link some of those websites in the show notes so that you
That-
guys can also.
Another thing is I actually do a lot of community engagement, and I think there is people find it hard understanding what planning is. Kwanza, the first time I did a community engagement ilikuwa kueleza urban planner ni nani for somebody to understand. It really took a long time for them. Oh, we need planning. So I think people, watu wengi wajui planners ni nani. I still get a question nikienda hata kwa built environment professional, what do you do? What people know ni approvals. They don't know planners beyond, like we are supposed to come up with land use planning. We are supposed to think about mambo na transport, water, waste management, all this other field that we are supposed to be involved in. Yeah.
Oh, wow. Wanajua tu architects.
Wanajua architects. Hata president mwenyewe akimention kwa hii Twitter Spaces alisema alimention architects na QSs. Hakumention any other. So I was like, okay.
Planners wamekula stray.
We
Engineers wamekula stray.
Hata akiongelea affordable housing ni kidogo sana aongelee mambo na planners. So, yeah.
I was seeing Lian asking.
You can't talk about affordable housing without mentioning urban planners. If you do, then something is wrong somewhere.
Yes.
Fact. No, I was saying I'm seeing Lian is asking, does this mean we should incorporate continuity of plans in maandamano?
Yeah, I think all of this factors.
We should legit have like a day for the built environment. Occupy NCA. I don't know.
Fun fact. Do you know there was a protest for built environment profession recently?
Oh, really?
Really? Well, when?
Yeah.
Hata professionals wenyewe hawajui.
Tuko hapa ni
People protested wakaenda, I think ni the professional bodies waliungana na residential association and they formed a protest wakaenda hadi kwa governor. I think that didn't pick up really well because people said that these are paid people, paid goons to go and
Are you
protest.
serious? So that's the answer to every protest, Maze.
But I think sisi inafaa tusalamie watu wenye wako kwa people who
by the way, you know that like we can't keep playing with the future. We can't build things when tunataka sahi, and then in 2050 we are like, oh no, now we need to destroy this entire building because it's on riparian land. No, tutenda kusalimia watu.
never to organize wasalamie. Na wenye wanafanya approvals ni planners, ni architects, like like a profession. We need to call them out. Like, why are you approving such a building? There's something you talked about in your previous episodes about housing in Kilimani being close to each other. Hadi watu wengi wanakosa lighting vizuri. Like, this is an issue. There's a planner somewhere who approved that building. Akijua very well, he's going to do it. So, yeah, I think as Kenyans, tuna operate na kelele. People have to
Maze.
make a voice around something, it gets done. So yeah.
Apparently, as from the UN, in 2050, the population of Kenya will be 80 million people. Half of those people will be living in city, like half. And that's almost double how many people live in this. And those cities are not getting it, as in it's the same city.
Yep.
So the situation is dire, guys. Hizi maandamano, the next one for the built environment, msipokuja
Occupy.
ndawareg.
Occupy, we'll spam their emails
It's
we'll
critical.
tweet it. Tupatie dress
It's
code,
critical.
we'll chair.
Jaribu kutia gas the mjengo baris.
Mjengo bad.
Inapigwa na safety boot. Sha.
Pili nimaliza.
Health material construction goggles.
Zile watu wa PPEs. Try it.
Yeah,
I
just
think-
made for this.
That's on period.
The views of the members of TBD do not reflect the views of Tomorrow by Design.
It's the
But
individual
what he said.
opinion. Yep.
Yes, the individual opinions not
Yeah.
affected by tomorrow. Brenda, what were you saying?
I would say, I think another thing we need to look at is something called urban aesthetic. Like, I think to go in an age where we like aesthetics things. So
Yeah.
I'm thinking of you know how a lot of buildings that are coming up. Why don't we have people to review if this building is aesthetical enough to even be built?
Or like
I think we're using that.
Okay.
We're honestly using that. If you go to Upper Hill, ukiangalia from an aerial view of point, utapata a lot of buildings. They are nice individually, but they don't form any kind of patterns. Apart from not Kilimani, Kaloleni, there is no pattern in any built environment in Kenya right now. Now, Kaloleni, it's a building that will construct even before independence. So that's something we need to talk about. How can we build environmental professions come together to have a design for a city, a specific pattern, for example?
Just to the identity of the city.
It reminds me of Tatu City. Like they have a development control company, and you have to get their approvals before you go to Kiambu County approvals. And what they do is, I think it could be used as a case study. It's far from perfect, but it's a step towards what you're talking about, having a more standard way of managing aesthetics, managing stormwater, because your building is not just your building in its site. It interacts with your neighbor. The impact of your neighbor 5 blocks down also has an impact on you. So maybe that's also I think guys are already trying to do it now, and it's great to see it.
Lian says upewe mbili kwa bili yake, unaongea facts.
Facts for sure.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah, and actually Brenda has an interesting article that you guys should check out, our listeners at home. It's called Nairobi Urbanism Unveiled, where chaos meets color. And she describes Nairobi in the most beautiful, chaotic way. Maybe you'll understand where she's coming from as now we think about aesthetics in our city. Our city is aesthetic, basically.
Brenda, let me ask, ukijaribu kuona what's the situation currently in planning in Kenya and whole community engagement, what's the one thing that you'd like our audience to take away from this? And what's the one thing that you'd like to solve, Yani, if you're able to wave a magic wand in Nairobi as far as public participation, community engagement, anything just around planning is concerned?
One, I like people to be informed. Do you know how right now what wanajua about finance bill? I think I'll also like that what wajue about urban planning and how they should and how it affects their daily lives. Like I'm just hoping, I don't know if it's something I can do or just to try and civic engagement, just trying to inform people in the urban planning. With that information, people will be able to at least participate in these forums and air out their ideas and hold their leaders accountable. The second thing is maybe if if you are an intellect, I think our role is to advocate for the people who can't voice the issues of the voiceless. So if you are if you are an intellect, please try your best to, if you are in a forum where you hear something that is urban plan related, like just send an email if you can. Like, be proactive, because this is our country, hatuwezi achia politicians watupeleke vile wanataka, because ama wa prioritize their projects. We also want some other things to be done. Kama if this BRT thing goes through, it will solve a lot of our issues in transport in Kenya. So yeah, people should be involved more in these things. You intellect with anybody else, please. Yeah.
And I fully agree. I love that those points that you're putting are the same things we've talked about. Yeah.
Yeah, she's calling us to stand on business, and we've heard loud and clear.
Yeah.
But yes, it's such a fruitful episode. Wow, thank you, Brenda. Umetufungua akili.
Thank you so much.
Vibaya tena sana.
Yeah. I enjoy talking about that.
I think we forgot to plug your blog. We can't close without doing that.
We cannot.
Brenda Ngoya runs a blog called The Urban Design Age. It was supposed to be called Urban Happiness, but somebody beat her to it. Great writing. Like it's like talking to a buddy. Honestly, go get it, guys. At the end of it all, you're promised that you're going to love the world around you better. And she inspires to. Has her inspiration is to inspire you. So check it out at urbandesignage.co.ke.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you so much. I've had a great time talking about this. So
Awesome. We're really excited to maybe the opportunity to collaborate in the future for these placemaking gigs, advocacy gigs. Yeah, you're definitely a team. You're a designer of tomorrow.
Yeah, I'll actually invite you to placemaking events, you guys, to come and say. It's usually very interesting. So
you bet.
You'd love to. You're officially a TBD now, a Tomorrow by Designer.
Yes. Honorary.
Right. So we've come to the end of our episode, unfortunately.
Yeah. Don't worry, guys. We're sad too.
You want to end it cold turkey? Bye, guys.
Bye.
See ya.